Hello. You didn't miss much, just me hacking up a lung, but that's okay. We are here to talk golf. So, before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and give you this amazing intro music. Enjoy. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know that you are trickling in as I speak, and that is perfect because you are now joining Who's Your Caddy, a weekly golf talk show. Rain, snow, sleet, hail, cancer, COVID, whatever it is, one of us is here. And it is not just me tonight. I do have my co-host with me, Adam Hallas at Mr. Twitter. At Mr. Twitter? Adam Hallas. At Mr. Hallas on Twitter. Adam, hello.
You can call me Mr. Twitter if you want.
Well, maybe I will from now on. But tonight we're going to be talking about the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which is taking place in the not so sunny city of Detroit. We're going to give some notes maybe about last week. Who cares about last week? I don't know. What we might expect this week. We're going to give you 3 core picks plus the infamous WTF pick. But before we get started, Adam, I happened to see a commercial prior to coming on the air about the I already
Was it
forgot
for
what it's
Mucinex?
called. The match.
The match?
Capital One's The Match.
Oh.
And usually they pair up an athlete with like a random sports athlete with a golf pro. It's barely watchable. It used to be 2 golf pros or golf pro versus golf pro. And then they brought in like a golf pro and a football player or golf pro and a basketball player. And this year, there's no golf pro. It's just athletes in general, like Patrick Mahomes and I don't even know. That's how interested I am.
That's when a sports event has read its own headlines, right? They're like, oh, people like this.
That's been the debate on Twitter, right? And that's probably what everybody's sitting around in their marketing room discussing. People like athletes. Let's give them athletes without having any concern about people who like athletes actually like watching golf? That's my thought.
They took the secret sauce out of it, right? The whole reason people like to watch the match or things like that, whether it was a contest between Phil and Tiger Woods at his course, which I played, was the whole dichotomy of the sports athlete versus the golfer, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a contest on who was kind of better. Who knows, right?
Right.
People kind of gamble on it, like to talk shit, and they put side bets on it. That was the fun.
That was the fun. And now we're just, I say we, marketing people, probably the executives of the whatevers, the people making money for commercials are like, oh yeah, this is going to work. And I'm sitting back here like, I don't know. I really don't know if that's going to work. Hey, Wendy. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's kind of like that celebrity golf or softball tournament, right? They're like, oh yeah, people like this. And for the most part, it's kind of fine. But when it self-discovers itself or self-reflective, it's not good.
I just felt like bringing that up because there's still tweets coming in about it as we're talking here on the show, and I thought, I just want to get this off my chest. It's not that I don't understand it's a money grab. It's not that I don't understand these are high profile celebrities. Part of my day job is booking high profile athletes and celebrities. So I understand the draw. I just don't think that as many people enjoy watching golf of these people playing golf as they might think. That's it. That's all I have to say, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll
just put that into the suggestion box.
Just put in the suggestion box. Exactly. Just file it away. Capital One, feel free to call me. We can discuss. Apparently, there's some people who hadn't even heard that there was an episode of the match this season until I tweeted about it. So that's a problem in and of itself.
For as many commercials Capital One does, you would think they would have done the one for the match.
You would think. Anyway, last week I was sick. I was flying blind. I just decided whoever on my fantasy roster for the FSGA Experts League was playing, they were going in. I made no attempts to go on the waiver wires. And so when I built my DFS, I kind of went that same way, and it was poor effort for me. How did your round turn out last week?
It was up and down. Like, I was doing okay heading into Friday. And then for a semi-birdie fest, it kind of just tumbled. Like, I had Hubbard, I had Lee Hodges, I had a Fowler, and he did okay. And then for the most part, it was kind of downhill. But here's a learning moment. I let someone get in my head because I was like, you know what? Denny McCarthy could blow up the first two rounds. And then somebody we know was like, you don't know. Maybe his course history might not be so good. And I was like, but he's playing tremendous golf. You can't beat that hot trend, right? And lo and behold, Denny McCarthy. I mean, he's trickled down towards the bottom, but towards the middle.
But solid fantasy points, though.
Solid fantasy points.
Yeah. I think my best bet was Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler, any of my props obviously paid off. And then the DFS that I did manage to squeeze in, I didn't come in the money, but that was the solid leader. So Ricky Fowler was the right call, I think, there. I think.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. A lot of these corporate tournaments, Capital One, the match, and all that stuff, they're semi-easy to full easy, just so that people do watch them. The casual golf watcher does watch them. So yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
nice reprieve considering the past few weeks before Travelers was pretty tight courses, tough. +2, +3 cuts.
Well, yeah, like I said, it was fun to watch, even though I just thought I had the sniffles, and I was chilling by a pool all weekend in lovely Tucson, Arizona, little staycation, and then woke up Monday morning full-blown sick, did not really care about anything, and went through this last week in a daze. So yeah, here we are. Fresh new week. Thank you.
I'm all sort of out of mess when you're not here because I don't pick up my headphones, act like my laptop has a microphone that works.
Well, hopefully my internet connection is holding out. It is been fine as far as I can tell since they came out and looked at it. Any complaints on your end?
None so far.
That's good. Knock on all the wood. This week, we're traveling to the Detroit Golf Club. Again, talking about the Rocket Mortgage Classic. I did take a look at the weather. It is certainly not the greatest weather to be had. It's been stormy, as far as I know, from our friends in the Detroit area already this week. And looking ahead, there's definitely a chance of rain for the weekend. That could be good things and bad things because of the air quality. There's a huge fire that's been burning around Nova Scotia, I believe, and it's just blowing in tons of disgusting smoky air across
Thanks,
that
Canada.
whole border. Thanks, Canada. Exactly. So I don't know how much that's going to come into play, but I wanted to throw it out there. There is a chance of rain, and the air quality has been pretty poor. And everything I'm reading this week, we're going to want somebody who's pretty great off the tee with some distance in there. What else do you want to make us aware of this week about the course, about what skill set to look at? Give it to us, Adam.
So yeah, the Detroit area has gotten a lot of rain. The course itself um, had some pretty major damage actually. So the PGA account, I think it was the PGA account, um, it had a nice little tour of the course and showed like these giant trees uprooted by their roots, just um, down limbs. So they got a lot of rain, and it is going to dry up, but just keep it on the lookout for when you're playing your guys and look when the rain's coming. So, um, when we start to look at the tee time should come out tomorrow. So, and you match that with the weather, you may want to do AM PM wave split, depending on when that weather comes in. If you don't want to mess with it, if you think the guys that go out earlier might have a chance. So, as far as the course goes, it is going to be one of the bigger birdie fests that happens. Typically, this tournament has been the last tournament before the FedEx Cup playoffs, but not this year. They moved it up because of who's in the tournament. I think it's another elevated event. But this is the birdie fest. Like you're going to look at minus 28, minus 29 as a possible winning score. I think Tony Finau last year had minus 26. And I think that was a record. So off the tee, you're going to. It's a grip and rip it course. There's not much penalty off to the side. I did read that the rough will be 3.5, 4 inches, but I don't. Considering the history of the course, I don't think it's going to give them too much pause. It is going to be a putting contest, though. So approach has gained 30% more shots gained than any other stat here. So I'd bump that up if you're creating a model, which is 3% more than tour average of 34%. And then obviously putting, and then you're going to look for kind of people that are distant average and have some accuracy, but you're going to look at that approach, and you're going to look at people at birdie or better percentage, par 4 scoring, easy approaches, so 125 to 150. If you're comparing tournaments that are Birdie Fest tournaments, American Express, Mexico Open, Puerto Rico Open, Century Tournament champions, all were like minus 20 winning scores. So you can compare your guys once you start making your pool, trying to figure out which ones have done well in Birdie Fest. So I'll go from there.
That's a great strategy. And if you're wondering, if you're new to the show and you're wondering about creating a weighted model, there are a lot of tools out there that allow you to weight certain skills versus the others. So those, what Adam just laid out for you, are how you could sprinkle in your points up to 100, and it gives you a model of rankings. This week I went a lot simpler than that, which is fine. Typical course fit, which I love to do, and I spent a lot of time on course history this week, matching up course history with past performance also. So what are they doing now, and how are their strokes gained looking? So you're going to get some interesting names this evening, things we haven't talked about in a while, but you know what? That is also in part to this field. This is not a hugely star-studded event. So you're not going to hear tons of, well, I don't know. Is
It's
it?
not going to be tons. No, Hogland's not in
I don't
here.
really. I mean, there are some of the usual suspects, I guess. But it's not. It's just not. We're not getting the John Rahms and the Scotty Schefflers this week. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about Max Homa. He hasn't been doing too well. If he can't get it going on this course, what course can he get it going on? So there, and there's some star-studded people in here.
I mean, okay. There might be like a handful. Let's give them
It's
3 to 5. A handful. But for the most part, I think the names you're giving are far more star-studier than mine. So why don't you tell us your 3 picks to create a build around this week?
Hey, gosh. Well, I'm starting off with Tom Kim. Tom Kim is a birdie fest lover. He does well at these types of tournaments. I think, given his past experience in these types of tournaments, like his approach is off the charts. The same thing with driving accuracy. He's tour average and driving distance. So I'm not expecting him to, kind of cut a rug there. His putting is average. He's lost strokes in his past 2 tournaments on putting, but he did pretty well at the Wells Fargo or U.S. Open. I'm sorry. He tied for 8th. He did well at the Masters, but he tied for 6th at the American Express, tied for 5th Century Champions, which are 2 hugely birdie fests. I think Century Champions was a winning score of 27, and that was John Rahm. So I think Tom Kim will have a confidence booster coming into this tournament. He got cut last week. So I think he'll do pretty good here. Actually, he didn't get cut. He had tied for 38th despite losing strokes on putting around the green.
Surprise!
Yeah. So I like Tom Kim. I think he'll do well. The other person that I like is, well, I'm going to ride this stupid bandwagon all the way till the wheels fall off, and that's Ricky Fowler. I think he comes in probably the best suited for this course. Driving distance is above average, driving accuracy a little bit, a smidgen above average, but his approach around the green and putting has been stellar. I mean, he's been in the top 20 of his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 13, 14, 12 of 14 tournaments.
You know what? We joked around about, his fashion sense being science, but now there's actual mathematics going on. So I dig the Ricky Fowler pick, but I'll give 3 different. But go ahead. Yeah, Ricky Fowler.
So, I mean, he did okay at the American Express. He tied for 54. He might have been hungover from the Zozo Championship, which he tied for 2nd, and that was a semi-birdie fest, not totally. But the way he's been playing lately, I think he's itching for a win, and I think he might be able to get it here. Because he's gotten so close. I mean, he's been in the top 10 through the last 4 events that he's been in.
Yeah.
So I think he really, really wants that win. I think that'll help him a lot, confidence-wise. My other pick outside of that is CT Pan. CT Pan, you're like, who? Well, he's been playing okay golf as of late. Pretty good driving accuracy. He barely hits all the marks. But at 7,200, he's doing pretty good. At the Byron Nelson, which was a birdie fest, he came in fourth. At the Zozo Championship, he came in 59th. And at the RBC Canadian Open, he came in third. He didn't do so well at the Travelers. I want to chalk it up as just something that he is hasn't changed yet. Something that maybe was a miss, a little hangover. I don't know. But he fits the course model of Birdie Fest, and he's gained pretty much putting except last weekend. So I think he's coming into his own.
Birdie Fest. That is the phrase of the evening.
Birdie Fest. How many times can I fit it into a
monologue?
Yeah. Birdie Fest.
I don't know. But I almost should have made it a drinking game. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Should have. Oh well. Next week. Next time. Secret word. I don't disagree with Fowler, like I said, but while occasionally we will piggyback on a pick together, I'm going to go my own way. And I really thought I was doing a lot of value picks, but I was surprised to see a couple of these closer to 9 than 7. So I'm going to start with JJ Spawn. It seems like one time out of the last 3 years, I make a great JJ Spawn pick, and I think this could be it. I actually feel really good about this one. He's very inexpensive. We haven't heard a lot from JJ Spawn as of late. Although he did start this season off really well. I will say that. What were you going to say?
He plays well at Birdie Fest.
Birdie Fest, 7.5K on DraftKings, super great value, and he has great course history here. Decent off the tee, he's an accurate driver, and he's got a great approach. So I'm feeling really good about JJ Spawn this week. Next, Chris Kirk. I did not expect to see an 8.5K price tag on Chris Kirk this week, but that's fine. Again, it's probably due to his course history. He's a really well-rounded player when it comes to distance, accuracy, approach around the green, and putting. You can't really ask for more. All we can hope is some great steady play from Chris Kirk this week. And Steven Jägermeister, 8.9K. I was like, wow. Somebody was dropping some Jaeger bombs when they priced him out. It could have been another WTF pick, I feel like, because I cannot remember the last time I recommended Steven Jaeger. However, he did come in 5th last year during this tournament. And I think, again, that lends to the higher price. And when I say higher price, this is still a mid-priced player in the grand scheme of things. His strokes gained all around have been pretty great. There was a little struggle in putting maybe, but I don't feel terrible about giving you Stefan Jaeger this week, 8.9 on DraftKings. So let's toss in that wild card. Who is your WTF pick this week, Adam?
Benny Ann. Bingong Hoon An. And his driving distance is pretty great. His approach, awesome. Around the green, great. Putting is not great. He's lost strokes on his putting in his last 10 events, but everything else picks it up. So Byron Nelson, he's done good at, tied for 14th. Looking at the other pretty fast. And tied for 12th is Sony Open, American Express, tied for 41st. Worldwide Technologies, he's cut. But the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, he was tied for 17th. And so I think he'll do well here. In his past 4 tournaments, he's been in the top 20, except he got cut last week. But last week, was less forgiving on those who aren't accurate off the tee. And he did not have the accuracy going. So I'm hoping he brings it back. And Benny N is my WTF pick.
WTF? My WTF is somebody that we have not heard from in quite a while. Akshay Bhatia, however you want to say that, Bhatia. And I like him for course fit this week. He's a very well-rounded player. And when we look at strokes gained, he's gaining strokes exactly where we need them. He's got a great approach and he's great off the tee. So that's kind of where I landed with him. I'd love to see him do something this week. He's actually pretty fast in this field. He's on a second in consecutive birdie and eagle streak, apparently, in this field. So I find that to be a fabulous stat, as well as third in approach from 200 to 225 yards. Again, what we were talking about. He's fourth in just consecutive birdie streak in this field. So I think our little Akshay stands a good chance this week. I've thrown him in as my WTF because, again, we haven't heard from him in a while, but this is the perfect time for us to hear from him. So there you have it. That's about it, you know? We talked about the upcoming crazy not golf match we talked about last week. We threw in some weather, gave you some course information. 3 picks from each of us to build your lineups around, and a bonus WTF pick. Do you have anything else, Adam?
No, Keegan Bradley is also in this tournament as well. I wouldn't pick him.
I wouldn't pick him either.
I mean, he's been Instagramming, drinking Sam Adams out of the Travelers Championship Cup for like the past 3 days. The man is going to be blitzed by the time he gets to Detroit.
Blitzed and maybe a little overconfident. Perhaps. Wendy's saying all of her picks seem to be WTF picks. Wendy, that's kind of how I felt this week as I was laying out my faves. But again, I really feel like that is just the field. It's just the field this week. I think you're going to be just fine.
You know
I don't know why I'm laughing. I just giggle every time I see Wendy's little comments. They just make me smile.
You know, Wendy, it's going to be fine. You know why? It's a pretty fest.
Pretty fest. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, tonight and every week. We've got you out of here in under 30 minutes. Yay! Big thanks to Club Fantasy for hosting our show on their YouTube channel, and for Women of Fantasy Football for supporting this amazing labor of love. And big thank you to my co-host Adam for putting up with me each and every week. So yeah. Okay. So good luck and have fun out there. Please tweet us if you have any questions. You can find me at Kelly in Phoenix. You can find Adam at Mr. Hallas. We'll see you around out there. I'm going to play some fancy music on our way out. Bye.